Are you showing up for the best person in your life? And if you're wondering, well, who's the best person in my life? And you're trying to list off maybe your partner, your kids, a family member, friend. Nah, take a look in the mirror. You are the best person in your life. You're the only person in your life that's with you the entire journey. You're the only person that can actually have the control over working towards, like stepping forward towards your dreams. The 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 power to look at your shadows and your patterns as to what's holding you back and choose to bring light to them, conscious light to them, so that you can see what is automatically operating for you that is no longer serving what is on your heart, what's your dreams, what you want to create in this world. And I know there's probably many people out there, maybe you're one of them, that would not view themselves as the best person in their life. And they might feel heavy. But I don't want you to see it as heavy. Just if you need to zoom out from it so you can't feel, so you're not taking it too seriously, please do so. Just bring curiosity to it. So why do you feel like you're not able to put yourself first and be that best person in your life? Why do you feel like you need to outsource your worth and put others on pedestals? Uh, However it lands for you, however it feels for you, um, I just want you to bring curiosity to why you don't feel maybe worthy or deserving of being the best person in your life. And it just means, honestly, the feedback is with curiosity, there's just something for you to look at there, some patternings that you started when you were younger in order to survive. And in order to survive as a young child, when we create a lot of our patterns, especially subconscious, like mind patterns, we need community to survive. Like a baby on its own isn't likely to survive very long. So it needs the community. So it needs to stay in love and belonging and be adored in order to be looked after and thus survive. And that is like the the only thing like it's measuring this on. Did we survive? Tick, yes, we survived. Okay, we can keep doing things this way, that we did it this way, which may have worked perfectly for the needs of that young child. Because, hey, you're still here, you survived. But perhaps it's a patterning that you've then, it's grown and expanded each time your system feels like something like that situation comes up. Our brain, your brain, might delete, distort, and generalize and say, oh, that's just like that. It's just like that time. And then over the years, you just add so many different moments of where something felt like that that it becomes a hyperstabilized belief and a pattern that you then operate from, often subconsciously. You might not be conscious of it. You might have friends and loved ones that could tell you a whole list of these patterns that you're running because they've just seen you operate, but you're blind to it. Or maybe you're aware of it, but you don't know how to stop it, or you don't know how to shift it. So that's just great things to be curious about. And there is always a way, but you've got to find the way to set yourself up for success. And honestly, if you're not choosing to be the best person in your life, it's just going to be disappointing because, you only have so much control over anyone else's life, even as a parent. So I heavily encourage you because I don't want to use the word should, I heavily encourage you to consider with curiosity, again, that curiosity, we love that around here. How could you look at these patterns that are running the show for you and maybe not serving you now as an adult that knows how to survive, is capable of survival on their own? How can you notice when a pattern's coming up and it feels scary to your system because we've proven it, quotation marks, as unsurvivable in the past? It didn't feel survivable. Maybe it wasn't survivable, the version of the different circumstance, because every circumstance is different, that happened when you first had this belief come up, before the pattern was truly created, like the first instance of it. You If you can notice what was the felt feeling there, why did you, yeah, just notice, like, why do you feel like you needed to show up in a certain way towards those around you that you needed for that love and belonging? And can you notice if whatever situation is going on today, that patterning, that trigger is coming up and reminding you of that? Can you notice how the situation is different? How you've got, maybe it's a boss that triggered you on in this instance, whereas it was your mum or your dad when you were a lot younger, or a teacher, or whoever it was. And just notice, like, is the same power dynamic there, or is it actually different? Or do you actually have a lot more uh, of a sovereign choice in, or autonomy in that um, situation, the more present situation? Is it possible that you might feel the trigger that you need to, maybe it's people pleasing that you learned when you were younger, feel that trigger that you need to people please when your boss asks you to do something, when you've already got a lot on your plate, and so you feel like you need to take it all on, even though you actually don't have the capacity. So it's saying, well, couldn't I, in this instance, would it be safe for me to say to my boss, hey, like, appreciate that you need this done. I've already got XYZ on my plate. I'm happy to do it after that, but I just need to, you know, prioritize these right now, unless you'd like me to prioritize differently. And, most bosses would have an open conversation about that and be like, oh, no worries, I'll give it to someone else on the crew, like, it's no big deal. But we've got to notice and consciously walk our younger selves that come up and get triggered in these moments to say, like, hey, I'm going to try to do something different because we are a grown adult now, and we have different ways that we can do things and still survive and even thrive. Ideally, we want to thrive, don't we? I would hope so. So, yeah, you being the best person in your life means that you get to create your life. And if your life doesn't feel very lit up or creative to you right now, or aligned for what you really want, with your dreams and your goals, that's also something worth noticing. And honestly, I'm going to level with you right here. I feel kind of in that boat right now. I've moved countries recently, 9 months ago now, but I am, working a retail job, which I actually love. It's very creative, fun stuff we sell. Um, whilst, just keeping some income coming in. But I'm really wanting to show up here more, and I'm finding I'm constantly frustrated with myself and my shadows and my patterns that are holding me back from creating good routines for myself. So that's something that I'm really choosing to look at. And I also know I need to be kind with myself on this. Soft at the right times, but hard at other times, because if there's any question whether I need to show up at a certain time or do XYZ task, I will overthink it and probably procrastinate on it and just not do anything at all. So, or if there's too many tasks and I don't prioritize. So, like, that's great things for me to notice and to look at for myself. But I've been holding myself back for years, and I am kind of sick of that story, to be honest. So, um, I mean, even using the word kind of makes me annoyed at myself because what I have to share with the world is so much bigger than me and my routines. And all I need to do is show up for some routines to set myself up for a better day to actually be able to show up at a higher, more aligned uh, capacity for when I share these videos, when I create what I want to create with my coaching, when I reach out and create marketing for actually getting people into my coaching programs, into my one on ones, my group coaching. So it's all interesting for me to notice and to hold up a mirror to myself. Because I, even though measurable external things right now don't feel that exciting to show that I'm successful, I know I've done so much work on myself and I'm really proud of myself for that. And everything that I love and everything that I'm made up of and every adventure I've had and experience I've had that's made me who I am, and I honestly wouldn't choose anyone different to be, because I've cultivated that internal love for myself to show up for myself and I know that I am the best person in my life, and there's no replacing that. And it doesn't mean I can't have beautiful relationships. It just means I know how to put myself first when I need to. Doesn't mean that sometimes I won't put others first, because that feels like what's present and I discern that in that point in time. But I know the best way that I can show up for me, if I can show up truly for me and keep up leveling in how I do that, I show up for the world, because I show up here. I share things that will really help people tune in with them and notice their patterns that are holding them back, and then go for their dreams because they no longer have those blocks. And I'm the best person in my life because I love the silly ways I can laugh at my own jokes. um, and I'm really grateful for that. And look, again, if you're feeling like the opposite, that's okay too. Bring that curiosity. Don't make it mean too much. But no, you can cultivate getting more towards. Don't make if it feels like leaps and bounds far away. That's okay. But if you'd like to get like an inch closer towards feeling like the best person in your own life, just say, well, I'm gonna keep walking. I'm gonna walk down that path. That looks fun. That looks fun. I'm gonna do it with curiosity, and not make it be so serious. And that's how you want one step after the other. You can get there. But if it's too overwhelming to think, oh, I've got to get there, and at the moment, I don't really like myself. Again, it's great things to notice. Please don't read into it so much that you make it mean so much that you don't show up to understand yourself, because you are the best person in your life. Okay. I feel like I'm going to talk more on this in other videos, but I'm going to leave it there for now. If you have any feedback, please throw some comments in there. And I hope you start seeing yourself as the best person in your life if you're not already. Okay, much love.